big calls on all the Cheltenham races. Welcome along, everyone out there. Friday evening. Here's a switcheroo for you. The first ever What a Shout Live, brought to you by the Racing Post and our sponsors, Bet365. This is going to be some hour ahead. Who have we got for you? That's all coming up in due course. You've probably seen it advertised all over the place. Who's getting sick of these previews? Well, I'll tell you what, hasn't the rain at the track at Cheltenham freshened it up for us? The boys have been studying a lot harder than they might have normally been, having been on the circuit so far this week. We will be giving you some absolute pearlers along the way. Bet365 got some tricks up their sleeve as well. Dave Orton, thrilled to be with you somewhere in the capital on a Friday evening. Let's get going then, shall we? Listen, if you're not a member yet on our members club, it's 6 p.m. and that's when the members club every night, especially on a Friday, kicks into gear. You can get everything coming your way. Sign up now. You still got that 50% offer out there. Stay ahead of the field. You get absolutely everything. Digital edition at 9 p.m. if you want to beat the rest. You can do that. All the replays, of course, spotlights, RPRs. This man and his sizzlers. Paul Kealy joins us. I tell you what, Kills, we're usually first thing on a Friday morning, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Good job we weren't, given that I've been doing preview nights, but I actually behaved myself last night, to be fair, so I would have been fine and
Yeah, that's only because you left it behind on a Tuesday. That's what.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you been enjoying them? Because I asked you, we did our own preview at the Racing Post a couple of Sundays back, didn't we, with Thompson and DJ Dave Jennings, and I said, how many have you done? He went, no.
Yeah, I haven't done as many as before. I think you can do too much. I mean, at the end of it, you're sick of your own voice, don't you? Like, I mean, God knows what other people must think of it.
Well, that's the worry about it, isn't it, Kills? But now this rain has come, right? It's all, don't tell us, too much about it. But you've had to rethink a bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. You almost feel like the con man who goes around to different people and giving them a different selection every time. Because you start off on Tuesday thinking, oh, this is going to be good ground. You want to get on this. By the time it's Thursday night, hang on a minute. I wouldn't back that anymore. So it's one of those. You've got to rethink. But that's the case always, isn't it? You talk weeks in advance. So obviously, we're bringing the book out in the middle of February and the ultimate guide and all that. You don't know what conditions are going to be. Yeah. It's only when you see the final decks and you know what the ground is that the final pieces are there.
We've had snow. We've had bucketing it down. I wonder what the weather's like in Ireland, because this is what you've not had yet from us here at the Racing Post. You've had loads of Paul Kealy. You've had loads of Johnny Dineen. But never have we had Johnny met Paul Kealy. There he is, look. I said to him just before he came on, look at him. He's been to the barbers. He's had his facials. He's ready for the track.
Yeah, I've been to the barbers, is right. Yeah, delighted to be invited. So, look, it's nearly on us now to Cheltenham. The weather over here isn't bad. It's not as bad as you're getting. I don't think it's snowing, but it's not. It's a very light colour covering of snow. Thurles was off on yesterday, Thursday, but I'd say it could even have been on really if they had waited. But they have it on next Monday instead. But no, we haven't got. It's cold now, but it's not. We haven't got that much rain either, really.
I mean, Johnny, how much has this affected your thinking? Or is it just, come on, this is what it's usually like, let's get on with it? Are you relieved that indeed there's going to be some dig underfoot?
Look, I suppose you don't want it too quick anyway for national hunt racing. You don't really, and when the day comes, you'll have a better idea than maybe the day before exactly what kind of the ground we're going to be facing into. But I suppose, look, really, you don't want extremes anyway. You don't want it heavy because it turns into a quagmire and then you have lottery results. But you don't want it too quick either, because national hunt horses want to be the dig to probably show their best, really, to be honest.
Johnny, it's an absolute pleasure to have you, and it's going to be some fireworks between Johnny and Paul tonight, that is for sure. Two completely contrasting tipsters and punters in their modus operandi. Let's have some fun. You can be sure they'll be telling it how it is, as will, and yes, he's back with us. Another busy man on the preview circuit, it's Pat Cooney.
Yes, happy to be here, and a wise man said to me many years ago, this game is all about the weather. So we're on plan A, we're now on plan B, we're now on plan C, aren't we? So there's a horse you fancy if it's good to soft, one if it's soft, and another if it's unraceable. So
yeah,
plenty of angles now.
You've been. I've noticed today, Pat, you've been an outlier on quite a few horses as well. So So I think that, you know, it's that time now where you're starting to stick your head on the block. The rain's calm, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll go through, listen, all this hour you're going to find out. You're going to get some bet boosts as well, Pat, aren't we?
Yeah, throughout the 4 days of the festival, we'll be boosting one horse in each race throughout the day. And it'll be a horse, you know, near or at the top of the market, that's for sure. And at 10 o'clock in all the 4 days, there'll be a super boost. So one horse will have a significant push out from, let's say, 4-1 out to, say, 7-1 or something like that. So there'll be one of those each days. And the each way angles is going to be, you know, very key to how the punters perform over the week. There'll be lots of interesting ideas and offers out there. But certainly the boost and the price boost will be very significant.
And regular punters with you guys will know exactly what that is. It's always on the home page, isn't it, when you go out? But it's just above other days racing, isn't it? They're a bit of a Bismarck for some of you out there. The guys in the gallery, for example, after we, you know, every show we do, we go down and have a bet, and I'll tip one to them. And they go, no, it's the Bet365 boost. They never win. But the guys are going to give us some boost this evening, and you're in trouble, let me tell you.
It would seem that way, yes. I slightly fear the worst a little bit, but...
You're going to get it, Pat, I'm telling you. And I'll tell you what, let's get on with the show, shall we? Let's see exactly what's coming up. Now, this is a preview with the difference. It's interactive. You know that out there. You can like, comment, subscribe and share if you're watching on YouTube out there. That's how you get up in the chat bar. I'll be policing that and shouting you out as we go. We asked Paul and Johnny to ask on their Twitter feeds for some questions. We've gathered them along. We'll be dictated to by the questions, not the 28 races in order at the Cheltenham Festival next week. We're going to go talk of the tracks and absolutely everything there for you. I guess we should just get underway then, guys, shall we? Loads of people out there watching. Where on earth do we start? Oh, the first question. This comes in. Oh, I know, I like this one. This is a beauty, all right? This is from the Bet365 social team themselves. Come on, they pay the bills. We've got to give them the road here. And which race will be won by the widest margin? Very interesting indeed. I can see the cogs moving along the panel now.
Do we have a show?
Well, we've got a show, and the man to give it to us is not the fav that you think, Pat.
No, this has caused a great deal of confusion in the office. There was a difference of opinion here, which is always healthy. Of course, the handicaps are the outsiders, so, you know, it'd be tough to fancy the handicaps, wouldn't it? We've actually made the cross-country chase favourite at 7-2, which is slightly curious in that it was the shortest distance last year. There was a cigarette paper between them all. But it is that long distance. There are only a couple of runners in the race with realistic chances. That's favourite. The best back has been the champion hurdle at 5-1. And there is a school of thought that says we are actually backing Constitution Hill to win by the furthest margin. That doesn't necessarily pan out that way. Of course, the Turners last year was Bob Ollinger in that freaky 42 lengther. So it's a tough one to call. We've actually laid the Mare's Chase at 12-1, small field. If one runs below par, it could be a wide margin win. That being said, it hasn't happened on a regular basis before. It's tricky. It's a lot harder than it looks, I think. Have we the right favourite in the cross-country chase? Realistically, I think we have. But
you've laid a bit of the Ryanair, haven't you, as well? Because, of course, people are just thinking, right, if Shishkin turns up, then he's going to go and tear them a new one. And he could win by, a street away. That's, what is it, 8-1 at the moment?
8-1,
so it's your chance to back Shishkin at 8-1, potentially, isn't it? And it's quite a nice bet to have, Kills, isn't it? Because a lot of people would have thought that the champion hurdle, after that 22-length supreme demolition by Constitution Hill last year, would be the one. Constitution, 5-1. You can then... sort of watch the rest of the races with an interest without having a punt on them,
And sorry, you don't have to name the winner either. It's just the distance. It could be State Man winning by...
That's right. Well, a few years ago, I had one of these coupon bets, and everything had won, and all I needed was the longest winning margin to be under 17 lengths. And then Nina Carby went and won the Hunter Chase by exactly 17 lengths and cost me a 33-1 coupon. So, I'm very interested in these bets. It could be any race, really. That's why it's 7-2 to field. The Mare's Chase is interesting. We're talking about it. I expected it to be one of the favourites, but 12-1 isn't a bad price because it looks like there's only 3 legitimate contenders.
There's some shrewdies going on the mares.
One of them, Allegory Devassi, jumps out to the right.
First mention of Alligator Devassi going out to the right.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd be half interested in that as well. You'd be half interested in the Turners thinking it'd be a small field. If the rain comes, you've got to keep an eye on the weather forecast because it changes. Yeah. This morning, one of the forecasts I saw was predicted nearly 20 mm rain on Monday. That's already halved by this afternoon. That's what happens. But if you get the impression it's going to get very wet, then I don't think Banbridge will run in the Turners. And that'll hurt me like mad because I'm on at 16. But then you're going to have a very short price favourite in Mighty Potter.
All right, so for you, which one are we doing? Because I'm going to jump in early. I'm just going to take that 5-1. That's nice and easy for me.
I think the National Hunt Chase, Galliard de Mainil, 7. Again, you don't have to name the winner, but a lot can go wrong for horses in that race over that trip. So Galliard for me. It's a sort of bet you can have pre-racing and just enjoy the racing throughout. And you might be in the clubhouse leading with, say, 6 lengths at one stage, and you might just be enjoying the rest of the racing. It's a fun bet to have.
Mare's Chase for you then?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's find out what Mr. Dineen thinks over in Dublin.
Look, it's a tricky bet. I never even seen a bet like this before. I think the cross country is 100-1 myself. I wouldn't be making that as favourite anyway. I'd give that absolutely no chance of having the widest margin. I can't ever remember the cross country being won by half the track anyway.
Tiger Roll did it once, I think, but you're right otherwise, because they just plod round and there's normally 9 of them jump in the last with.
You'd have gone home skint last year, wouldn't you, if you'd have done it? Tiger and Delta. Come on, Johnny, pick one for the punters out there. They're all waiting for you to do it.
I'll go with the Arkle because I think it's a 2-horse race, and if one of them underperformed or happened to fall, I could see a big margin in that. And it's a kind of a race where they'll be driven right out to the line too. Do you know what I mean?
I think we know what Johnny thinks of John Bond then straight away on that one. Okay, all right, you've had that from us. That was a great question. More will be coming out. What do you think out there will be winning by the widest race margin? I'll check it out in the chat and see if we've got it. Right, we're all having some fun. We're cooking with gas. I believe that the first bet boost is now coming in, and this is one of Keel's. And if you've been to these previews, you'll see that Paul Kealy is particularly keen on...
Yeah, Antalya in a Potemps, yeah.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, well, I was told I called it Antaya all the time, but apparently...
You were trying to get more Gaelic than
and
you
I
should have
asked
been.
David Jennings, and it's Antalya or something like that, but I struggle. I struggle anyway. Is that right, Johnny?
Yeah, Antylure is right, yeah. I'd say it's an Irish for, I'm guessing it's the tailor, I'd say.
Right, yeah, that's what I was told, yeah.
All dressed up then, Keels.
All dressed up, yeah. Third in the qualifier behind Shoot First. I like the fact that actually the first, third and fourth haven't run since. They're all having their marks protected. Yeah. He's only finished out the frame in a handicap hurdle when unseating at the first at Cheltenham last season, not at the festival. And I just think he's got a great chance. He's the biggest price out of the 3 because he's trained in Britain, but he's trained by John Joe, who's won the race 4 times, and that's more than anybody else has won it. So, but the other, I always play exactas and trifectas in the handicaps.
Yeah.
For a bit of fun, and I will put all of them in Shoot First, Antalya and Salvador Ziggy.
Well, funnily enough, there is a question about the Potemps later on, but Pat, let's talk to us about this. This is now available, isn't it? This is out there for you. Mm-hmm. You haven't got that long if you want to take this, guys, by the way. It was 12-1 this afternoon, all the way out to 16s now. 16-1
now, and it's on for whatever your usual stakes are, what your limits are. But it's interesting, isn't it? It used to be, the old theory used to be, Lenny Lungo used to be quiet coming into Cheltenham, as did John Joe. And John Joe has a small but select team, hasn't he? So significant that he's even having a runner. Looking at those prices there, Shoot First has been favourite ever since the prices came out. Thanks for the Help has been rocketed to the head of the second in the market. Thereafter his Chepstow win, which was pretty spectacular. But there's some familiar names. I suppose Nicky Henderson's taken the race quite seriously. He's got quite a few runners in the race. Walking on Air has been the horse for money in this race, which is owned by Mrs. Doreen Tabor, wife of Michael. There's been money for that, and there's been money for him pretty much every race he's had in his career. But if you just look at it, he's a worthy favourite. Shoot First, that's for sure.
Well, this is a lovely link for Johnny. I'm going to bring you in now, Johnny, because we're going to go to our first item of the show, and it's called Talk of the Preview Circuit. And I think everyone out there, no one's had more chat on these previews. So he's even taking you to Dubai, man. And didn't you have Charles Burns? I mean, imagine that panel. Charles Burns and Johnny Dineen on a panel. And this was the charity bet, wasn't it, this Fav, for Charles in the Potemps?
It was his one anyway, yeah. I'd say he's quite sweet in it. But, like, it's priced to the bone now at 7-2, to be fair. Like, Charles is a great trainer. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant trainer. But, like, if God himself trained it wouldn't be less than 7-2 at the same time. It's very, very short, and it isn't a bad contest either. There's plenty of horses in this race with chances, and plenty of even Irish horses with chances, let alone you have a few English horses as well thrown in, and you have the likes of Antalya and Nicky Henderson. There's 5. like I know they like the bet and all that, Charles does, but I can't see it being much less than the price it is now. I think it's priced to the bone myself. I think he has a very good chance, but like there's other horses like with a bit up their sleeve in this race too.
You could almost do, guys, couldn't you? A guess the SP for horses now. You know, will come Shishkin and the likes, and even Constitution Hill. But it's amazing that we're talking about a horse in that league that is in the potents. You know.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the thing about these, you know, the bookmakers are very, very wary of Charles Burns, of Emmett Mullins. Now, you can't guarantee that they're going to drift because there's serious money for them. Does come sometimes, but I would probably guess that this one will go off a little bit bigger on the day.
That's what I was trying to get you to eke out.
Yeah, the other point, it's been that short for a while. You know what I mean? And I know that, you know, whatever bookmakers do anti-post, it's nothing compared to what they do on a day at Cheltenham, is it? Correct. So, you know what I mean? There won't be any liabilities there. So if the money isn't coming for it, it's gonna take some sort of walk.
If that goes and lands the gamble in the potential, what price for Blazing Cow, Pat, in the stayers? Everyone will just think it's Burns Day, won't they? And, you know, not Rabbi, but Charles. And talk of the previews. You've been doing quite a few. Come on, give us some goss.
It does seem to be mixed vibes about John Bon. I must say I did pick that up. Some said he didn't overly impress at Kempton when he had an away day there, but why would he? Because it was on the all-weather and there were no jumps there anyway. But again, Vassal Vega is an interesting one. This Gaelic Warrior chap just doesn't seem to go away whichever race he runs, and you can counter. Yeah, but he does jump to the right. Well, yeah, he does, but it just seems to be, if you mention Vassal Vega, people mention Gaelic Warrior as well. So the opening race on the first day, I think it's going to be fascinating because you've got 27 races to get it straight back as a bookmaker, and I think the front three are all going to be big prices on the day. There'll be advantageous each way terms, and I would say Vassal Vega is 9-4 at the moment because we laid him in so many multiples, October, November, December, even at 5-4 and prices like that. And then we laid him at 5-1 after he got beat, and now he's come back into the market again. He's in every multiple bet, and even more so now since his defeat. But he doesn't look a price there that's worth a bet there, does he? And I can see that's the market going against him. Marine Nationale as well. Gaelic Warrior, depends what race he runs in. Ditto Il Etant. So I think the bookmakers try and get the front 2-3 beaten.
It's funny. I mean, you see the amount of horses William Mullins has got in there. And we're all expecting Gaelic Warrior and Imperial Pass to go to the Ballymore, but Il Etant has been especially weak this week. Like, you know what I mean? It's got to get you thinking. Well, hang on a minute. If this one's this week, are they going to parachute another one in?
Come on, talk of the previews. What are we hearing?
One other talk of the previews was that Imperial Pass, out of all the horses, was the very last horse confirmed on Tuesday, or at the 5-day stage of all the horses and all the races. Like, you know, whether that means there's been a little conflab between owner and trainer or what, I don't know. Like, you know, the other major bit of gossip, I suppose, is that Galvin has seen more of the cross-country course than most horses have run in it 3 times. You know, so
Gordon's been over at the track for a little while now, and Willie have. They've come over earlier than normal.
Yeah, but I mean, pretty much every time he's come over, Galvin's gone with him as well. Like, you know, throughout the past year. So don't be surprised if he takes to it like a duck to water.
Yeah, all right. Finally some talk about the cross country on these preview tours. So what have you been hearing then, basically out there, Johnny? Anything that you've really taken out of these previews, or is it time to move on? I mean, you're probably just completely muddled by it all now, aren't you?
Oh, there's very, very strong news of Imperial Pass. Very, very strong news of like you'd be kind of loath to go against them for too much anyway. Like, there is real talk of it. It's like as if Gaelic Warrior isn't even running in that race. There's no one even mentioning him, you know.
Wow.
Look, the other ones are getting strong news for are Elliot is putting up Cool Survivor in the last race in the Martin Pipe. There's a few others. I think there's pretty good news of Mighty Potter. There's a few little negatives here and there for different horses, but it's generally positive stuff you start to hear at these previews anyway, to be honest. There's very few fellas come up with any sort of a negative, really, and especially with their own horses anyway, you know. Yeah. Is there any horse I'm just trying to think off the top of my head? No, Fury Road is like a horse that won't win. Or won't be involved even in the Ryanair, the way people are talking.
Wow, negative for him then. Okay, it's good. Nice to hear the negatives. What have you heard out there? Come on, let's just get the chat going up. He's an old pro now, Johnny, isn't he? He's only been doing these with us since Upping The Ante started back in October, but he already knows to link to Mighty Potter. And let's get that up, shall we, guys? Because we know, and again, you've been watching plenty of Johnny all through the winter and these previews as well. And it's fair to say, Johnny, despite the weather showing its teeth, this remains the nap. And it's the next boost. 7-4 if you want it, Johnny.
Yeah, that's very fair. That's very, very fair price. I think it'll be much shorter than that on the day. Anybody I speak to, nearly everyone that I'd respect fancies it. I think that'll win barring accidents myself, Mighty Potter.
It's a win barring accidents then, Pat. We can get up the 7-4. Was that out from 11-8 from memory?
From 11-8. I think it's a generous offer myself, actually, because he features already in so many bets. And as Keels alluded to at the start of the show, if Banbridge is your second favourite and we're on weather watch, well, if it's soft ground, Banbridge may go for the Arkle over the shorter trip or not at all. And so you might not have a Banbridge in the equation. Appreciate it. He's interesting. Sir Gerhardt is interesting. Money round for Balcal Coastal of Nicky Henderson. That seems to have attracted the eye. And I think you can start with a fresh page and say, what are the hot horses as of right now? Not like a month ago, but Balcal Coastal, he's very much thrown his hat into the ring as an each-way alternative. But the Mighty Potter, yeah, he's there's a lot to like about him, isn't there? He's only got the one blip, and that was last year. But this year's version looks pretty good. And
that's the only worry with him is last year, isn't it? Because he didn't travel over well. He sort of went a bit loopy going down the start.
Yeah, he did.
Ran through a rail.
It's the literal only blip the horse has ever had.
Had to get checked out by a vet and then jump badly in the race. Like, you know what I mean? It's only one run. You can forgive him that. And apparently he's a hell of a lot bigger and stronger than he was last year anyway. So he's most definitely the one to beat. I mean, I have backed Banbridge at much bigger prices in the hope that we were going to get good ground. I wouldn't fancy him at all on soft ground. But if it's good ground, I think it'll be a lot closer than people think, because he's the one with Cheltenham form being 2 from 2 at the track.
You know, I looked at Banbridge and tried to find some soft ground form, and what he has kind of got.
He's got some, but it's just not good enough.
It's not top level.
And I wonder, if it got really soft, I wonder whether it'd actually get home anyway.
So it's about finding the right chess pieces for the board now, guys, isn't it? Basically, the way this rain has freshened it up, and yet they could still be doing the old ding dong. It's not just Willie, is it, that changes these pieces? Who's worried about who going where then? What's the one horse you don't want to defect? There's a great question out there. I think Balco Coastal, by the way, some chat from Endo about him as well, Paul, isn't there? I mean, I put him up at a big price, but okay, all right, I'm delighted to hear that Nicky's putting him up. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. And this comes from, what's this, Matthew Richardson says, the race you have historically had the most punting success in. The most success punting in. Johnny, did you hear that then? What's the one race that just off the top of your head you know over the last couple of years, or the one that you look at the start of these anti-post previews and goes, that's my race?
There's not too many of those now.
I don't believe that, man.
I've had a bit of success in the Arkle, I'd say, over the years. Going back a lot of years now to maybe far back as maybe Ventana Canyon, that kind of stuff. In as far as, like, I remember maybe hitting Moscow Flyer, definitely was on that. Was on the Sow 1 year at Antipost, maybe 92, that kind of thing. He won it, turning dead on. I've definitely hit the winner in the Arkle a few years anyway, definitely. I can't ever remember having a really bad race in the Arkle anyway, to be honest. So, look, no, I'd say the Arkle has been one of my favourite races, and I'd say maybe if I had to go for a second one, maybe the RSA or whatever you like to call it now, the Brown Advisory. I was on the winner there in that a few years too. But I'd say the Arkle is possibly my luckiest.
All right, okay, there you go. And I get another negative for John Bond there. Keels?
You know what I'm going to say, don't you?
Go on.
The novice handicap chaser no longer bloody exists.
Come on, man. Gee, what year are we in?
2019? Yeah, I know, but I've still got the I bet the winner of that loads of times. And I was absolutely sick when I got rid of it.
It's all gone downhill since
I
then,
have had
Keels.
some big price winners and jumped on gambles at the right time in the Grand Annual. The Tiger Cry, Pigeon Island, Wazo Denui at 40 to 1.
I think you were going to say Grand Annual. Is that because your modus operandi is to look for the handicap?
I like chasers and I like handicaps.
Yeah.
Like,
Everyone knows that about
And I'm not
you,
one, I don't go, I haven't got a bottle to lump on at short prices, to be honest, anyway.
Yeah.
So, I prefer to have a speculative each way bet at a price sort of thing, and it is a race that I've done pretty well in the Grand Annual.
Yeah. Okay, Pat, just quickly.
Yeah, the bumper for me, I go back to 2010. I was at Fontwell and I was a long way from home. I thought, well, I won't bother staying for the bumper. I thought, oh, you might as well. Q-Card won it, making his racecourse debut. And I thought, wow, what's that? 40-1, he won the bumper. And a few years ago, I was on Silver Concord, Dermot Weld at 14-1.
Showing off now, aren't you, Pat?
Dermot Weld doesn't have many winners at the Cheltenham Festival, but he had that.
This is a little section called After Timers Corner, isn't it?
Absolutely. Let's get a graphic up, boys. Absolutely.
And then I backed Ballyandy and Nigel Twiston Davis.
Oh my God!
But I don't bother with the bumpers anymore because you see one of Willie's and one of Gordon's winning.
You know we're on the clock, Pat, right? I mean, unbelievable. Norton's coin will be next. Unbelievable scenes. I guess if I had to go for one, it would probably be Supreme, to be honest. I think that would probably be. So yeah. Anyway, all right. Okay. All right. Some more. Okay. Here we go. Let's pick up the pace down for you guys out there. All right. If the forecast rain arrives, which 3 horses? This is interesting. Off your radar, come into that equation now. Pat, I'm going to start with you on this one.
I think you could have a new favourite in the Stayers Hurdle, granted the ground says soft, and that would be Tehupu, who is a very good horse on most-ish grounds. But if it says soft in it for sure, then he would have a leading chance. I would even say he'd go a favourite for the Stayers Hurdle.
Ooh, yeah, okay, because I mean, a lot of people are like, why we come on, Tehupu looks so impressive, but he's not going to get his ground at the festival. Hang on.
Well, he might. You've got to wait till Thursday, though. This is the problem. This is the problem with not knowing, because obviously we're still talking about what's a relatively long-range forecast, aren't we? If you remember how much rain they had on the Wednesday last year, the Times suggested it was still not far off good by the time it got to Friday. Like, you know what I mean? That's how quickly it drained. So we'll have to wait to see. But yeah, he's he's one of those. He can go off 2s or he can go off 8s.
Yeah.
Love Envoy on the Tuesday.
Oh, loads of people in the chat screaming about that. Scotty Rudderham, I see you out there.
She's far more likely to get her ground because it's on the first day and she becomes a massive, massive player.
Yeah.
And obviously, Marie's Rock. I mean, not saying she's off on the radar, but that's what way will she run in?
Well, because they've supplemented Epatante finally for this.
Yeah.
She gets her place in this. And again, she might now go to the champion, mightn't she? If it's going to be. Because she's not the stoutest of stayers.
Yeah, exactly. So, she
More
could go to
chess
champion.
pieces.
Marie's Rock could go to the mares instead
She's
of the
going to the
stayers.
mares, isn't she? Surely.
Well, I mean, Henderson's been, they've been saying stayers all along.
Yeah, I don't know, a lot of chat from Tim Palin and the Midland Parkers. So how does that affect your thinking for the mares race, which looks sensational? Johnny, one horse that you couldn't have on your mind because you didn't think it was going to get the ground that might have given you a U-turn. Do you do that sort of thing?
Maybe not on my mind is probably a bit strong, but look, there are horses there that are the ground becoming softer, make them like maybe a go from a 2-star to a 10-star play, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I'd hardly pull one out that I was given no chance whatsoever, like ability-wise. But Jerry Calam goes from being a 2-star to a 10-star bet in my eyes, anyway. If the ground is soft in the Brown advisory, I can still see him winning, even on good to yielding or good ground. But if it comes up soft, genuine soft, like I think genuine soft ground would be improving Mighty Potter's chances also. And there's Tehupu is another one. Yeah, that's probably the most obvious example. Another horse I will definitely look for is 3-Card Bragg if the ground is soft.
Oh yes.
But Paul is right there. It's very hard to predict the ground even now because it's still too far away. I think you can only really guess on the day or at least the day before because, as he said last year, Quagmire, the last race looking to be on Wednesday, and on Thursday you'd swear they hadn't rained for 6 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Commander of the Fleet was a classic example of the sort of bookie downing the gamble. There's the Mayor's Market then, and this is one of the races of the festival now. No matter what you think about its place of the week, we've been rewarded with a real treat. I mean, there's Honeysuckle still just holding on to her prices. Favourite, Pat. Marie's Rock, I'd be surprised she doesn't run here. I wouldn't be surprised if Epatante didn't. Love Envoy for me. Envoy, whatever you call her, absolutely love her. She's as tough as they come.
Yeah, I don't think she goes off anywhere near 7s if it is soft ground. I really don't.
All right, okay. I would have liked to have boosted that one, and I'd like to see the 10 stars for Jerry Colon. We'll get to him. Johnny, I want to come back to you just quickly, just while we're on this question. A lot of chat from you and Keels. I was going to get to this at some point. We may as well do it now. The galloping question, of course. If you are looking for horses, if you're thinking it's going to be a soft ground Gold Cup, that would bring in the stouter stayers that you think, in particular, will win the race. Your Noble Yates, of course, never run a Grade 1, but the wetter it gets, the more his chances increase, right? Does it make you even more keen to take on galloping in the Gold Cup?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you have any bit of a stamina issue, like the heavier the ground, the softer the ground, the more taxing it is, obviously. So look, you'll probably have to stay 3.5 miles or even further to be guaranteed getting the trip a 3.25 mile race if the ground is messy. So that must, like, the classier horse will invariably appreciate better ground, and the sloggers really come into it like when the ground is really taxing and testing. So the likes of Statler and Noble Yates are real huge runners if it becomes soft ground. Like if it happened to turn up to really messy ground, you could be looking at those two horses to go off about 5-1. If the ground is good, they'll be double figures. That kind of way.
Just seeing Manila Endo then, as Johnny was talking, going off 22. So that's a massive price for a horse that finds 5 extra legs when he turns up.
I know a lot has to happen before we get to Friday, but Brave Man's Game, who would be backing him on 3.25 on heavy?
Yeah.
I'd imagine it'd be double figures.
Royal Pagai's a big player, isn't it? 66s. Last seen finishing second to Brave Man's Game, of course. This is hard to see them winning. There's the Gold Cup market then. There it is. That blue tide, I keep looking back to him and I just do not know what to do with him. A lot of people talking about Ahoy Senor. Just come good last time, didn't it? What about Conflated Paul on the ground? Because he's your pick for this now, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd definitely stay. I mean, if it got really bottomless, you'd have that question mark because he hasn't done it. But he saw it out well at Aintree. I know Aintree's a completely different track, but that was 3 mile 1, and he finished strongly, and that was after a fall in at Ryanair. And obviously his other 2 runs at 3 mile in recent seasons, he's won easily in the Savills and the Irish Gold Cup. I think he's a little bit of a bigger price than he should be. And, at the end of the day, we all know how exciting Galopin Des Champs is, but there are a lot of young horses with potential that have run career best this season and could easily run another one. And he's just too short in a field of that depth.
He has to drift if it rains, right, Pat? I mean, he has to, surely.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's quite telling. At a few of the preview nights I was at, I did ask all the audience, at what price would you back the favourite at? And I would say, well, okay, who would back him at 7-4? No hands went up. Who would back him at 15-8? No hands. Who would back him at 2-1? About half a dozen hands went up. And you had to get to 9-4 before the common consensus of opinion was, I would back him at 9-4. And asking the audience, I would rather back so-and-so each way, because we'll probably be first 4 places on the day. Who knows, you might be first 5 if there's the maximum field. Everyone, well, we can all see him winning, but is he a bet at current prices? Probably not. To entice the general public in, I think you'd have to go 9-4, would you believe? But we'll see what happens on the day. Willie could have had 15 winners by then, couldn't he?
He wouldn't. I mean, no chance of being 9-4, lads, is he out there? I don't know about, ladies and gentlemen, about that one. All right, and you know what it's going to be like. Absolutely typical, isn't it? It's been an absolute desert out there for a lot of the time. We've had a bit of rain. Probably a lot of people out there thinking you're panicking, guys. What you want about? It's going to be lovely jumping ground. All right, let's just draw a breath for a second here. Check this out. There we go, the Members Club offer still remains out there for you. About halfway here on What a Shout Live. Another question comes up. A horse that might lose this festival, who's this that's sent us in? Rio, love this Rio, but will win in 2024. It's not an easy question when you first get your head around it, is it? But I suppose you're thinking like the Paul Nicholls beaten in a novice hurdle. I'm not saying that Hermes Allen will lose, by the way, but he would be embryonic chases.
Well, you'd think so, didn't you? Although he's a fair bit smaller than some other horses. Paul
Bumper horses?
Yeah, that's an extraordinarily difficult question, isn't it?
I'm going to... Singers that might put their money where their mouth is here. You've got to be careful, lads.
I'm going to be speculative here and say State Man, who'll be second in the champion hurdle to Constitution Hill.
Pat.
And Constitution Hill
will go over fences.
Will say, we've won a champion hurdle, we're now going to go over fences.
That's not a bad chance.
And State Man is by far the second best hurdler in training. And if the Constitution goes over fences, say hello to your new champion hurdle favourite. A lot has to happen.
I like
but
that.
That's
A horse that will switch codes, basically.
You got it. That would be my random, or maybe not so random thought.
If it was trained by anyone else but Nicky Henderson, I think he'd be staying hurdling. But this is just the fascination is there with Endo, isn't
I think the Dawn Run.
Funnily enough, I'd have said if he was trained by anybody else than Nicky Henderson, he would be going chasing.
I don't think so. No, I think it's so attractive. We could go on for this for hours. Maybe this is what you want to see. I think it's so attractive money-wise to stay hurdling that you could do that. Johnny, a horse that's going to get sunk at this year's festival. I mean, they get easier, these questions, didn't they? But they will then go and win in 2024.
It is a nice question. It's a tricky one. I'll take a chance on maybe Sandroy getting beaten pretty well in this year's Arkle and maybe winning next year's Grand Annual.
Again, you can see it. Where did you pluck that one out of, man?
I don't know, but it's like a thing that when those horses don't make Grade 1 status, they tend to try and get them properly handicapped then, you know, that kind of way?
Yeah. It shows you how difficult it is. Sam Caney, great to have you out there, Sam, one of my favourites. And he says, I think they said State Man might go chasing. I like to move it, might go chasing. So you're playing the game, aren't you? But you're going to get lofty prizes if you... It is one of the most popular markets, isn't it? The moment the dust has settled on the Supreme, up goes the champion market, and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, whatever wins the bumper is typically favourite for the Supreme Novice. So I just thought with State Man, connections of Constitution, they might say, well, you know, we want to do the Dawn Run Champion Hurdle Gold Cup, and we might as well get a move on.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'm just looking at the chat. It's Sandor Clegane. Yeah, that's an interesting shout. Paul Nolan's great, big, imposing novice chaser. Might get placed maybe or something like that. You know.
Well, I think I might have another one for you, actually, Dave. I think, just thought of one there, actually. A horse of Gordon Elliott's. He's a maiden over hurdles. He's running in the Albert Bartlett. I just can't think of his name. Can you remember his name?
Oh, hang on, man. I've got a running order in front of me. I've got people in my ear.
Gord's got about 10 in there still as well, hasn't he?
And he's got about 20 runners in it. Yeah, someone out there, help Johnny out there, community.
I'll find him here. He ran in Clonmel anyway.
Is it Absolute Notions? Is that one?
No, he's still a maiden over hurdles. 1 second.
You've got 20 guesses left.
Search for Glory is his name. Search for Glory.
And, the Jigginsdown horse.
Yes, I could see him winning next year's National Hunt Chase.
The market doesn't fancy him too much with Bet365.
No, he won't win the Albert Bartlett, but he's a good horse now, and he'll stay forever and ever. I could see him being a factor in next year's National Hunt Chase.
Absolutely love that. Brilliant. Absolutely love that. What do we make of the Albert Bartlett this year?
Well, we don't know if Corbett's Cross, whose current favourite, is going to run in the race.
I mean, that was one of the other things about the preview nights. I mean, pretty much everyone I was on was saying he's unlikely to run.
Yeah.
Which is weird, and he went sort of double the price on the exchanges as he is with the layers. So,
he's not running.
Right,
definitely not, John.
I wouldn't think so. When I hear he won't be running anyway.
Yeah. Right, okay.
I mean, the best back horse has been 3-card Bragg.
I mean, 3-card Bragg, if the ground...
Well, that's perfect for Max now.
3-card Bragg.
What I will say about the Albert Bartlett is it's often a bookie's benefit, this race. The last favourite to win it was at Fisher's Cross 10 years ago, and we've had 50 to 1s, 33 to 1s.
Whoever thought Grange Clare West would have been a 50 to 1 shot turning up at this year's festival? It's all gone wrong for him. I like Hidden Valley Lake in it, despite the fact he was beaten last time.
That was an extremely slow run race last time.
He had to do all the donkey work himself, and I don't think Rachel wanted to do that. And Monty Starr came and did him, didn't he? And Manolo Indo got beaten in that race and came on.
I am a big fan of 3-card Bragg, to be fair.
Yeah, is this one of your big plays?
Not a big play.
I heard you had a couple with Max.
Oh, with Max the other night. Yeah. He was very enthusiastic.
Because he was on What a Shout a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he was very
have a little
enthusiastic.
chat and say, I'll see you down there?
No, I didn't know he was going to be there, but we did have a good drink when he afterwards. Yeah, but he's I'm going to say they're really, really confident, but they're really, really looking forward to it. You know, I think they're always with a proper chance. And obviously,
he's got such
obviously
good form
more rain the better. I mean, you know, everything about him says stamina, and the fact that he hasn't tried 3 miles yet, you know, he's going to improve. But as I said on the night, I said it's one of these. You find a few horses you fancy in the race, and then on the day something wins that you've never heard of.
I think it looks quite a classy edition of the race. I think we could be looking at proper chasers of the future and stuff. Sometimes you look at the race and think, I'm not really sure. Okay, who wants another boost out there? Mission Controller telling me it's time to get another boost up there. And this is one of yours, Kills, isn't it? It's Shishkin.
Yeah, I've been very bullish about him. I mean, I was massively impressed with him at Ascot, and it was back up to the form of pretty much everything else he was doing before it all went wrong. I still think he'll win because I still think he can be way under his best and do so.
Yeah, even if he's not quite Ascot ready.
Yeah, I mean, there has been little bits of talk about it not having been totally plain sailing with him since then. Which always makes you worry. But then you ask these things, and they say, oh, hang on, you ask somebody connected to the yard, say, oh, that's absolute nonsense.
That's what I have had, actually.
And the problem is,
Cheltenham, isn't it?
You get so many rumours going around, you don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens to him in the market, because I think purely on form, he should be a lot shorter than he is.
Well, let's go to Pat, because what were you, 4 to 5 on, weren't you? And you boosted him out now. You wouldn't go even money.
No, he's one of them. I don't know if you can have too strong opinion. He is returning to the scene of the crime, though, isn't he, of a year ago, when it was a really, really dreadful performance. I don't mind his first time out this year, because that was over the 2 miles, which clearly Connections felt was not the correct trip for him. The Shishkin version of last time out, I suppose, will win. Someone said to me the other day he should be 3 to 1 on.
Might have been me.
Probably was, Gills.
And if you cherry pick his best runs, you probably wouldn't disagree with that.
All right.
But he is coming here with 2 butts by his name, isn't he?
All right, well, you sort of mark it up there then for the Ryanair. Shishkin, tips on, Johnny?
Look, I laid him the last day. It's very hard to lay him again because he did win. He did win very, very easily. And look, I think you're only betting on a horse being right. If he's right, he wins. And if it's supposed it's a pretty quick turnaround, 26 days. It's not a lot, and he probably did give himself a hard race, even though he won by a big margin. And sometimes horses win by big margins, like the likes of Mastermind, is where they don't back it up afterwards. So you just never know, really, with a horse like that. I couldn't back him now because after opposing him the last day, I wouldn't back him now and maybe get beat. But I'd be very, very slow about laying him either. Like, he's clearly the best horse in the race. You're betting on his well-being, really, more than anything else. And if he does bring his A game, I'd say the only thing that can stop him then is a quagmire, really heavy ground. That could be a bit of a worry, all right. But look, on all known form, if he does things right, he should win.
You get the feeling, don't you, Johnny, with Shishkin, that because he's such a beautiful looking horse and the way he moves through a race and he's right, like he did at Ascot, you would want that, firm, lovely, kind surface. But you look at his form; it's 1-1-1 in heavy ground. He's like, he doesn't mind it at all. But you do have in your memory what happened when it was that soggy champion chase last year, and he just didn't want to come out of his box, did he? So look, there you go. You're being boosted. It's one of Kills'. We've got one more to come from Johnny. Stick with us for what that's going to be a little bit later on. Let's get another question up. Come on, let's get it. I'm being asked what's going to win the Ultima in the chat and everything. Oscar Elite. Can both of you give us a fancy? This is for Johnny and Paul. Says Luke, like this Luke, 25 to 1 minimum.
25 to 1 minimum.
Yeah, who wants to go first?
Word. There was one I was looking at in the Coral Cup, if he runs, and that is Seddon. Although he might well be in the chase as well. That's a thing.
Did he win at the course early in the year?
He won very, very easy. He's been a very talented horse in his time, and I think his mark is still pretty good.
Wasn't this an ex-Max McNeil horse?
It was an ex-Max McNeil horse, yes, indeed. But
I'm doing that annoying thing where you know the answer and you're asking questions,
this is
but
what
I've forgotten about
trying to find him. He's got to John McConnell, and he's won very easily here, and then he won over fences last time, and he's 25 to 1. He's 25 to 1 for that. But he's also in the plate, and he's also in the Martin Pipe.
So whatever he runs in,
but it's all NRNB. I think he will run well wherever he goes.
All right, Seddon. He's stolen that from you, Johnny. If you might have to cross that one out, I don't know. What is the?
No.
What's the rag winner then?
25 to 1. He's only just barely on the cusp of 25 to 1. He mightn't even be that. No, I don't back many horses bigger than 25 to 1, to be honest.
We've gathered that through the winter, Johnny. If there's one thing we're learning about Johnny Dineen, money's on is better than money gone.
Yeah, and if he closer than 25 to 1 on, maybe I'll be going for it. But look, I fancy Dr. Bravo in the first race.
Ooh, nice.
He is bigger than 25 to 1 in the exchange. He mightn't be 25 to 1 with the bookies, but he'll definitely be 20 to 1 anyway, minimum now. I mean, like I can't find anything like 33 or 40 to 1 for this man, but like I think Dr. Bravo won't be far off 25 to 1 anyway, and I think he has a very, very good chance in the first race, actually.
Do you know what? I'd like to see him run well, because I might even chuck one in there if you don't mind. I'm a big fan of Dark Raven, who is in the Munir colours, and Impera Pass has been just taking all the highlight of him. But he slammed Dr. Bravo, and he wants the trip this
I
horse.
am absolutely convinced this race is right for a turn up there at the Supreme. I really am.
Yeah, what do we... come on, should we have some facile chat? It looks like, Pat, he's going to be... What price is Facile Vega going to go off?
Traditionally, race 1, day 1, bookmakers are big and brave, right? So I could see 3-1 the field being out there for sure.
3-1, Facile Vega.
That doesn't make him a bet, mind you.
It doesn't make him a bet. It ought to be 3-1 the field at the very least.
Dare I be horrible and say he's going to run it? All we're hearing that Impera Pass now goes here, isn't it?
Yeah,
and it's the right race in my mind. For
it is the right race in my mind as well. But I mean, assuming he doesn't, I just don't think that form's that strong. I really don't. So I backed some Eurus. I backed Rare Edition. Hearing good things about Rare Edition.
Good chat about him coming back, isn't there?
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't well. They said straight afterwards. Not straight afterwards. They said afterwards that he scoped badly, and apparently he wasn't that well afterwards. Yeah. And he's back in good nick. And obviously, he beat Rubo very easily, and Rubo came out and won the dove cut after.
He could be another 25-1 shot for you out there for your man.
Yeah, he could be. Yeah, he could be another 25-1 shot. Remember, you're going to get 4, perhaps 5 places, depending on the final size of the field when we get the decks.
All right. Okay. Should we get some more questions up? We've got loads of them out there. There were so many coming. Let's get another one up. Can both of you? Yeah, we've
just had that one.
Come on, Mission Control. Roll it on. How many of these do you want? That's got to be one of the hardest questions out there. This is professional reputation time. I even threw one in at 25-1. What else have we got out there question-wise? Here we go. It's right, ready? And penny in the meter. Any second now. Come on, Mission Control. Get on with it.
The chat is
right.
That's an interesting one. It would be Darshall Drasher in the Stayers Herd.
Who?
Darshall Drasher.
Dashel, man.
Darshall Drasher? Blimey, Pat, you'll be watching with the stewards, won't you, if you keep talking like that?
He's 25-1. He'll run a good, honest race.
Oh, yeah, that's a great shout, actually, because he's done nothing wrong. No, what about Gold Tweet as well? He could still be a player, couldn't he?
He's not 25-1 though.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is that line of form is strong, isn't it? Dashel shouldn't be that, but it's hard to see.
It could be. The other French one is interesting. That'd be a price, wouldn't it? The other French one was supplemented today.
Yes.
Right.
We heard this was going to happen at the weights lunch.
Because I can't remember the name of the trainers.
Hang on.
But Frank de Large or something.
He's beating him, hasn't he? Also as well.
Yeah. He thinks he's a better horse. Gold Tweet has come over here and won in his 8, and this one is 25.
People screaming at the TV, going, all the French experts on this panel out there. He's not Barracuda, I don't think. But yeah, Darshall Drasher, Dashall to you and I, has got a chance. All right, finally, here we go. And this is just a wine and kills up ready. How far does Alligator Degassi win the mare's chase by? Who says that? Tits McGee. Which is a wonderful name out there. Better than my alligator, Allegory Devassi. You don't like her at all. You're close to connections. They are hearing that they all think she's going to win.
I had a big row with Joe Chambers on a panel at the Sydney Arms on Wednesday night. They think she's a certainty. But I just don't like the way she jumps to her right. And I watched her on a left-handed track, and on the France Gallop website, she went out to her right then. And obviously, Willie Mullins hasn't run her.
So that's a presumptuous question.
On a left-handed track, so you'd have to wait and see. But you're on the turn all the time, aren't you? You know what I mean? And if you jump out to the right like that, you're going to lose ground.
What's your view on this, Johnny?
Look, I think she might win, but I don't think she's a good thing either. You know what I mean? I do favour her, but I think a big negative. Well, it's not a big negative, but I think a bit of a negative is the fact that she's a penalty. Like she's a novice and she also has a penalty. So too, I suppose, has Impervious. Look, I just think it mightn't be a lot, but it could be the difference between winning and losing. Look, she has a few things to iron out after Thurles, and even in Limerick, she took a bit of a liberty near the end of that race. Look, I think she's very likely winner. But she can't afford to do a lot wrong at the same time. There aren't bad horses against her. Like, you could give Jeremy's Flame some sort of a chance, and definitely Impervious is a huge runner. Look, I'd favour her, but I wouldn't be going for the big chips on her at the same time.
So the answer to your question, McGee, I'm not going to call you by your prefix, is ahead probably, just about that, if at all. What price is she at the moment then?
Allegory's 11-8, Impervious 6-4, Jeremy 9-2.
You're a bit stingy there, aren't you? 11-8, 6-4 in a Cheltenham Championship.
There's only going to be 5 runners, isn't there? It's going to be one of them, isn't it?
But you're giving us poor bookmakers the other runners, and we don't really want them, really.
Yeah, right, fair enough. One of the 3 will win. A good question, nevertheless, though, because she is a big talking horse, I think, and she's got a right old engine, but will she end up in Bath? I don't know. What distance would... here we go. I saw this earlier, Mike Walker. What distance would you need to see Constitution Hill win by to put him in the best ever category?
It's a different one because we built him up so much. It's almost like it'll be disappointing if he doesn't win by at least 10.
Just trying to get his legs
10's probably not enough. I mean,
He's won by 22.
Let's say Stateman's
14, 17, is it? Something like that, his distances so far this season?
Let's say Stateman's got a top RPR 168, is it?
Correct.
Yeah. So 15 lengths, 183.
He has to beat Stateman
15
by
lengths,
15
183. In a very good time and no excuses for anything else.
You're really sharpening your keyboard then, basically.
I mean, I can't say better than that, but it is, we built him up so much. It's almost like if he wins by 6, it'll be like meh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Okay, all right. Johnny?
Yeah, definitely double digits anyway, I would have thought, yeah. Definitely double digits. He's not like a horse that's going to come cruising and win like Spencer-esque kind of stuff, is he? Like he's going to be shoved out, isn't he, really? Because he's shoved out every day he runs. So I assume that if he jumps the last 2 in front, he'd want to be winning by 8 or 10, minimum 10 anyway, I suppose, really.
All right, okay, Pat.
Well, Stateman has to run his race and finish an honourable second, but the winner, Constituent, he has to win by 10 in a fast time, easing down, Nico waving to the crowd.
You want a wave as well?
I want to wave. I don't want a skeleton.
You want a flying dismount?
I don't want a skeleton thing of me, but it has to be double figures, or else we'll all be a little bit deflated, dare I say.
I don't know about that. I mean, what are you on about? Even though we've got, what looks like the shortest price horse running in the Champion Hurdle, it's still one of the clashes that you're waiting for out there, isn't it? Oh, it's getting close now. Wow. Absolutely fantastic. All right, I think we've got another boost coming your way, have we? I think this is Johnny's final one. Aha! And it is in the Mares Novice Hurdle. And not Lucia. It is one of the Mullins too. Not Astro Diamond either. It's a lot of joy. Johnny, take it away.
Look, I just think this big help to a lot of joy is getting the £5. I mean, the £5 it's a lot more punitive than the one in the chase. I mean, this is a real dirty penalty. I think £5 and like Lucia has it, Astro Diamond has it, and you have these horses getting the £5 now. Like a lot of joy is a very, very good flat horse. Like it wasn't far off being like it was in the 90s or something like that. But it's taken a while to get the hang of it over hurdles. But I suppose it getting beaten in Cork first time, it was still beaten by I Know the Way You're Thinking, or that horse of Gavin Cromwell's, or I Like the Way You're Thinking, something like that anyway. I think it's I Know the Way You're Thinking, but that's a decent animal in its own right. And then it got pipped at Leopardstown, and then it come on and eventually it won at No Offers the next day. But I think it's coming right. It's guaranteed a good pace, and I just think that the winner might come from the unpenalised ones, and this is the best of those. I think it has a great chance. It is a tough race though at the same time, and but like they'll probably give 4 places in the day. I don't see it being out of the 4.
There's penalties and there's dirty penalties, says Johnny Dineen. Absolutely right. £7 for Lucia. He doesn't like there at all. I must admit, I like her a lot as well. I think You Wear It Well's got a right chance in that as well. Foxy Girl probably overpriced. Well, it's a really good race.
I originally really liked Lucia, and then I went back and I looked at that Exeter run again, and it just
stumbly, isn't
it
she?
just seemed to me that she seemed to want to take an extra step to put herself right at every hurdle. And if you get 20 runners in the Mares, which you normally do get a big field, then I don't think she's going to have the time to do it. She'll get banged around. I mean, it can be a very rough race. It was last year.
Some turnovers in this race. Would you remember Dino Blue last year? Of course, with a massive gamble that flopped, didn't it? So that is the final bet boost. We're going to see all these throughout the week, but these are now available on the site. This is out from around about 6-1 with you guys, out to 8-1 there, and it's Willie Mullins and a nice boost there, Pat.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm exactly with Keels on Lucia. All season I've been she'll win, and then you watch the races and you're a bit that wasn't quite as impressive as I first thought. And we have had some shock results in this race, as Keels says. You get plenty of runners in the race. Yeah. Willie Mullins can often win it with a 2nd, 3rd or 4th string. So Lucia, I don't think she'll shorten up, that's for sure.
You could do a lucky 15 of all these boosts as well, couldn't you? So it's Antire, Mighty Potter. Did I get that pronunciation right? Antire.
Yeah, Mighty Potter, you did,
Mighty Potter was nailed on Dave Orton. Shishkin got that right. And a lot of joy. That sounds like quite a nice little lucky 15 out of the year for the week. Another question comes up, and it's Chris Hart. If you were to both have double figure prices in a lucky 15, who would they be? Well, I'm assuming Antalya would be with yours, but go away from it.
Antalya would be,
come on, get away from it.
I'm not getting away from it. I've got to put another 3 in there with it. I nearly said something there.
He's usually that angry with me off camera, let me tell you.
Oh dear, that was a save and a half. Right, anyway.
Bruce Millington could learn a thing or two from that.
Elixir de Nuts in the Grand Annual.
I like that.
I think he's you know, he won a top with Hurdle back in his younger days. He's just come back to himself this year. His last 3 runs are all sort of career best.
Yeah.
Second to Excitations, who won easily next time. Then smashed up Galahad Quest, who won easily next time.
Yeah, love it.
And then second in the Game Spirit, splitting Funambule, Civil and Grenadine, and only getting put up £2 for it. So I think he's a big price. He's a big price at 20 to 1. I can't have Camprond anymore because he's shorter than that, but if the ground is soft, he'll end up being bigger than that.
We nearly got through the whole hour without you mentioning Camprond.
Yeah. So I go Conflated in the Gold Cup and Rare Edition in the Supreme. There you go. Then a massive one.
All right, okay, Johnny, some lucky 15, some massive prices out there for us. What would you chuck in?
I'll go high definition in the first.
We nearly got through a whole hour of Johnny not mentioning high definition. They're both attacking me now.
Like, I'm trying to. Like, I wouldn't back 4-10 to 1 chances in a year, so I break out in the last year trying to find 4 of them. I'll go for In the Pocket in the Ballymore. I think that has a good chance. I'll go That's All Right Gino in the Plate. And I'll have to pick you one more now. Geez, where am I going to get the 4th one from? Hang on, I'll just ruffle through here. I'll go for...
The good thing is, while Johnny takes up his mind, you could probably find him on about another 10 previews tonight, so you can ask him that question. You can ask him that question again if you want.
I'll go with Let's Be Clear About It in the Albert Bartlett.
I like that horse.
Yeah, we're all sort of nodding away, absolutely. I think that's all right.
Johnny, I was surprised, let's be clear about it, wasn't put in a handicap of sorts, because his Irish mark is a lot lower than I think our handicapper has him, so he wouldn't have got hit that hard by the BHA handicapper. He's only won 3-2 or something, isn't he?
There's a few horses like that. Like Three-Car Bragg was attractively handicapped in the Martin Pipe too. But I think Irish guys with chasers, with I suppose like horses that are going to be chasing next season, they don't bother going down the handicap hurdle. They'd really rather get beaten in a championship race and go chasing next year. Yes. It's not that they'll ever go to use that handicap hurdle mark later on anyway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay, so look, that was a great question. And listen, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you in the chat box again today. I know we have other shows on a Friday night usually, don't we, in the nose usually on and things like that. But it's been great to have the crowd out there. We've had lots of Twitter interaction this week. I know we're doing all sorts of shows for you and all that sort of stuff. We've tried to do something different tonight, and I guess we'll end on a lucky 15 of naps for you. This has been a real pleasure, Pat Cooney, isn't it? Doing something a bit different.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. And, I've watched all the shows, on all the platforms. And, this is more current, more up to date, and it just feels more vibrant and very current.
You're looking forward to next week, Pat. You're going to be down there all 4 days. What is the biggest hope of the week for Monsieur Cooney? My
main bet will be on the day, taking advantage of the each-way terms on offer. I'll go into the Coral Cup. Noel Mead trains it. One to ask Johnny about, really. Beacon Edge, who 2 years ago was 4th in the Stayers Hurdle. They went chasing with him. That didn't particularly work out. Mixed bag of form so far this season, but his last run was the signs that he might just be back to the form of 2 years ago. On that basis, he's attractively handicapped. I know it's a wide open race, but I could say he's the best handicapped horse in the race, and he's still a double figure price. So Beacon Edge for me.
What do you reckon about that one, Johnny?
Look, he as Pat said, if he comes back to his best, he's a chance. It's the Coral Cup is a hard race anyway, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't be shocked by one that. Look, he wouldn't be a horse I'd go for myself. I just think it's possible that his best days are beyond him.
Yeah.
Behind him, I should say. He's coming. He had his spell over fences and that. So Noel Mead isn't exactly like putting up trees either. He's had a quiet winter. He's had a very quiet winter. I think he was 60 days there without a winner over obstacles. So he's had a few winners in the all weather. But look, I mean, he wouldn't be a horse I'd go for. But I wouldn't dismiss anyone's opinion in a race like the Coral Cup anyway.
You're upping the ante, pal. Dave Jennings put him up as well. All right, Johnny, it's your nap time. Bring it back home.
I think Mighty Potter is a cert anyway. I do. I fancy it very, very strongly. If you want something that I think will win, if you want something a bigger price, I could pick up a different horse. But if there's one horse I had to pick to save my life in Cheltenham, I think I'd go with Mighty Potter.
I think we all knew that was going to be 101, didn't we? Because again, Johnny's done so many previews, they'd be out there with pitchforks if he changed his nap at this late stage. Johnny, absolutely right. Kills, a lot of nodding going on there, and we know what yours is as well.
Yeah, we all know what mine is. I've been going on about it for a while. Antalya in the Potemkin. You know, I like to have a crack at handicap.
Yeah, so, well, listen, if the Grand Annual is your best punting race, then this is the one, isn't it? All right, and I will throw in for you. So we've got 2 favs, basically, and 2 to have a go at a price. That's what a lucky 15 should be, isn't it? I think Jerry Colomb is just an absolute rocket, and that unbeaten record will be maintained in the Brown Advisory Watch Out Gold Cup next year. Right, guys, that is all we have time for here on the very first ever What a Shout Live. Myself, Dave Orton, signing off. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, and share if you're watching on YouTube. We'll be back with you next Friday, normal service review, and we're getting the handicappers in to review the Cheltenham week and then look at the races that weekend as well. Johnny, it's been an absolute pleasure. This is not the first time we've had you in on this studio panel, but this has been something different. Thanks for joining us, man, and good luck next week.
Thanks very much for having me. Good luck, lads. All the best.
Good luck, Johnny. See you in a week.
See Johnny next week.
Pat, good luck.
Put him on your shoulders and have a great time with him, and be having a couple. As will this man next to me.
Yeah, going down there on Sunday morning.
It's countdown time now.
Oh, no.
Kills is nearly there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it?
Stop talking.
Stop talking. Yeah, at last. That's what all saying about me. And Pat, thanks for coming down, man.
Yeah, and just can't wait to get the final decks through for the opening day, really. Then we can all go to work, can't we?
Yeah, 10:30 on Sunday then. That will be coming your way. All right then. Enjoy your weekend, guys. It's the slowest one of the year, isn't it? Cheltenham is next week. For myself, Dave Orton, all that sport. Enjoy.